Hey friends, welcome to my channel. Let's get crafting. For this DIY, we are going to be using this fabric I had on hand, these darling treat bags that they had at the Dollar Tree, these art canvases and clothespins and twine that they all had at the Dollar Tree. So the only thing I'm going to be adding to this that's not Dollar Tree is going to be fabric that I had on hand. So I'm going to take those two art canvases and I'm going to just use some E6000 first, and then I'm going to come back in with some hot glue this way so it holds together really nicely and really strong. And I'm overlapping them about 1.5 inches onto each other. Then I'm going to take my fabric and I'm going to just pull it as tightly as I can around all the corners with my hot glue, pulling it nice and tight so it's going to have a nice smooth front surface. Make sure you're flipping it back over so you can see where the wrinkles are and where you need to pull in that fabric more. And then when it comes to the edges, I'm just kind of folding them down so they're kind of like a triangle. So that way everything lays nice and flat. And to finish the back side, I do recommend taking another piece of fabric and covering that up. But before we do, I'm going to take 2 long pieces of twine and I'm going to tie them around these 2 art canvases, because we are making a darling advent calendar. I'm a sucker for advent calendars. I made one last year. I'm going to link it at the end of this video so you can see it. But all you have to do is get that twine on and then put a nice piece of fabric on the back side so it covers it up and cleans it all up on the back so it looks store-bought. And then you're just going to take these cute bags, tie the treats all up inside, and then tie them onto that line that you created with the twine, clipping them on with the clothespin, and you are ready to display and your kids will love it. Today is a 10 on Tuesday. I love doing this series here on my channel because it's giving you so much more inspiration all in one place. And today I'm teaming up with Sammie from Unicorn Dust Design. Now Sammie is super talented. I have been so impressed by her hard work that she's been putting in on her channel. Sammie's video is packed full of inspiration, so make sure you head over to her video that's linked down below my description box at the end of my video. This DIY was inspired by Shannon, the Daily DIYer. So we're going to have some of these stacking blocks, some of these little wood beads, a heart, and some twine. Now you can get all of these things from the Dollar Tree except for those wooden beads. I buy those online on Amazon. I'll link them down below so you can find them. Now I'm going to take some of these blocks and I'm going to cut them down because these are going to represent the different heights of our family members. Now I saw Shannon, she made one of these darling DIYs where she had it for her and her husband. And I saw it and thought, I remember making the old version where it was really large and blown up, and she had the cutest idea to shrink them down and use these stacking blocks. It was so smart. Make sure you head over to Shannon. I'll link her down below in my description box to give her that shout out for her great idea. But I wanted to make one for my family. I thought, how cute would it be if I just extended out more to represent each family member? So I cut them down to different sizes that would represent each person. Funny enough, a Sonboul fact, I'm actually taller than my husband, and we like it that way. And so he's the one that's on the far right here, you can see in the video, and I'm the white one. And then the darkest one is my oldest son, and then my next son, Calvin, and then Miriam at the end. I glued them all together, and then I wrapped them with some twine. And then on the front side, I added a cute little heart, just like from the inspiration that Shannon had done. And then the tricky part is the heads. Now you can see here that I have some toothpicks. I decided instead of just gluing on the heads where they can pop off really easy, I wanted this to last for a long time. I drilled holes in the top of each one of them. But the tricky part is when you add on more people, you're trying to make sure the beads are all going to fit on the top without bumping into each other too much. So I definitely recommend taking your time and gluing them on. I put this little toothpick down in here because I wanted to make sure that it was going to allow the bead to have something to hold on to and to be nice and snug on there. Once I had that one on, I kept working my way over, making sure each one was secured and spaced out well enough. And you can see if you look at the person right in the middle, that one's kind of shifted a little bit more to the left because it couldn't be centered on just the way that the height of these little blocks were. I tied a little bow. I decided to add a little bow to my daughter's because I thought, why not? She's super girly. And I added that onto a toothpick, snuck that down inside, and it was ready for me to display on my shelf. This DIY is so fast, if you blink, you'll miss it. I'm going to take these 2 signs from the Dollar Tree and then 2 of these long sticks, these painter sticks that you can get at your home improvement store. And I'm going to just make a line mark on it so I know the length that I want for my sign. Then I'm going to simply just cut them down. After I've got that cut down, I'm going to take some hot glue, and you can use wood glue for this too, but I'm going to use hot glue because that's what I had at reach length. Normally I would use wood glue, but this time I didn't. And I'm just going to glue that right on here. And the reason why I felt comfortable just doing the hot glue, because I came underneath and I used my staple gun, and right at those joints, it was wide enough on the wood to be able to catch my staple from my staple gun. So I'm just doing 2 staples at each connecting joint to really secure them. And I love the way that the love looked. So I kept that one as the neutral wood. But then I thought it would be really pretty to add a color to the XO. So I ended up going with a pretty corally, soft pink kind of color. And then with the wood one, I really liked it being raw because it says love and I can use it all year long. Every single month I am going to be doing a monthly giveaway, and this month my giveaway is a Dremel toolkit. Now to enter the giveaway, it's not on this video, it's actually on this video. So I'm going to link it at the end of this video and down below my description box. If you're interested, go and enter it. All you have to do is leave a comment on the question that I ask in the video. This DIY is super simple. We are going to take these wooden hearts from the Dollar Tree and some nautical rope and start by untwisting the rope. This is a little tricky because the longer it gets, the harder it is to untwist. So just be patient with this and maybe put on a movie while you're untwisting it. You actually don't even need a movie's length worth, but I would just say maybe put on some music while you're untwisting it. Then once I had it untwisted, you can see that I added a little bit of hot glue to the end to make sure it didn't unravel. And now I'm just going to follow along the shape of the heart. When I get back down to the point, I started at the point, wrapped around, and when I got back down to the point, I pulled it around the front side of the heart to continue on coiling it around on this wood piece. These are going to turn into the most darling heart coasters that are neutral enough that you can keep out all spring long or even all year long, because I like having hearts in my home. I don't know what it is about the shape, but I have always loved it. Once you end up going all the way around, you get down to the end, you're going to take that last little bit and you're going to cut it off and just sneak it down in there with some hot glue without burning your finger, and then you're ready to use them for coasters. This DIY is going to be using this heart wreath form and 2 or 3 of these packs. Now I did open up 2 packs of each of these colors, the hot pink, the peach, and then the cream, but I didn't end up using all of them. I definitely had stuff left over. But what you're going to do is you're going to add some hot glue onto the wire, and then you're just going to keep filling in these flowers. I like to mix them up so it looked like it was a bouquet of flowers. This is so easy, and these new flowers that they have at the Dollar Tree are so pretty. They look like roses when they're all together. Then I came back in with this new flower, these roses that they have on a bushel. I cut them all apart so that I can add in all these little greeneries and smaller roses. There's something about adding that in, really made them look like a bouquet of flowers. So just go back in and fill them in where you want that greenery to be, and when it's all done, it's ready to be hung up on your door to display. If you're new to my channel and you're coming over from Sammie, welcome. My name is Heidi Sonboul and I post on Tuesdays, which is always my 10 on Tuesdays, and on Fridays, where I have a couple different series on this day. I do Friend Fridays, the DIY challenge. This is the next one, but typically my DIY challenges are always on the first Friday of the month. And then my newest series that is called the Creative Champion Contest. To know more about all of the things going on this year, I'm gonna link the video at the end of this video, but just know it's the same as my giveaway that I'm posting as well. So when you go over for the giveaway, you'll also end up seeing all of this information about my channel and what to expect. This DIY is so beautiful and can be used all year round. Start by taking some twine and a glass jar from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to create long strips across the jar going at an angle, going one direction, and then once I've gone all the way around, go the other direction. Now we're going to take some rope. This is their rope that they have at the Dollar Tree, and there's 3 of these strands. They're twisted together. I just untwisted it, and now I'm going to coil it on the bottom of the glass. Normally, I'm not a big believer of using hot glue with glass, but because we're going to be twining all of these together and gluing them, they actually stay on really strong. So now I'm going to take 3 pieces of twine and I'm going to braid them. And once I get it long enough, this is going to become the handle. Now at the top, I went around the first ring, stopped, put on the handle, and then I continued. I didn't cut that first ring around the top. And then I'm going to just continue so that that knot is hidden underneath all of these wrapped around pieces of the rope at the top. This is so beautiful. You can use this outside on a table. You can use it anywhere in your house. And I'm going to just pop in one of the battery operated tea lights because they just look so cute. Once you get to the end, you're going to go ahead and just keep wrapping that rope until you like it and cut it off. For this DIY, I'm going to be using this gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to be using 3 of these wooden grapevine hearts that they came out with, a little bit of boxwood that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. I have a big long garland strand of it. I just cut it off when I needed. And then some of these new roses from the Dollar Tree as well from the springtime. So I'm cutting off a strip of ribbon, and I'm going to just simply bring up it around the back side of the heart, glue it in place, and then bring that front tall part onto the bottom of that other heart. And then I'm going to come in with some boxwood, add a simple little rose right into the center of it, and this makes the cutest little wall hanging. You can hang this in front of a mirror, you can hang it on a small skinny part on a wall in your home. I think this is just so darling, and it's so easy to make and costs pennies to make. Sometimes I think home decor can be so overpriced, and I just love these little type of things like this that cost pennies to make because it really does make such a difference in your home. Now I'm going to add at the very top a loop of twine and a touch of a bow to hide that kind of messy part of the twine, and it's ready to be hung up. If you haven't heard, I do have more than one channel, and these are all of the days that I post throughout the week. They all have a different theme on my channels. This is my DIY channel where you're visiting today, but also over on my paper crafting channel, which is brand new, I have a giveaway going up today. Head on over there to check it out. Then I also have my Heidi Sonboul Health channel and my Heidi Sonboul Home channel. I like having these all broken up so that people can pick and choose what is best for them that they want to watch versus trying to cram it all onto one channel. For this DIY, I'm showing that they do have yarn at the Dollar Tree, but I decided to go with the white one that I had on hand, as well as some burlap, and then one of these large flat canvases from the Dollar Tree. Take your burlap and just pull it nice and tight all around it. I love these canvases for this exact purpose because you can put any fabric you want on them. You can also paint them too, but I'm just going to wrap mine with fabric. So once you've got all of the corners cleaned up and nice, you can end up putting another piece of fabric on the back, like a piece of felt, to make it look really clean and tidy. Then on the front side, I am going to make a whole bunch of yarn small tassels. Now, I don't know if you saw at Christmas time, but that tassel Christmas tree DIY was super popular. I almost made it, but I thought, no, it's so popular, everybody is making it. I want to try to give you fresh content. So I thought, wait a second, I'm going to hold on to the idea and make a heart. And so far, I haven't seen anybody think to make it into a heart yet. So I'm showing you how to make it into a heart. So here I am, I created the top part of the tassels to shape into a heart, the two bumps. And then I took a ruler to get a nice straight cut line right across. And now we're going to work on that next row. Now you're going to want to make sure that they are the same amount across the second row, and you're going to cut them as well. Because what we're going to do is we're going to eventually start trying to take those tassels and manipulate them, the two on the end, to come in at the curving point of that heart, the top part. And then the next, we're going to lessen the amount, and then at the bottom we're only going to have 4. But the trick with the bottom is you're going to bring the 2 in really tight, and then the 2 in the middle, they're too thick to leave that much of the tassel. So we're going to give them a haircut again. We're going to cut them in half. So see how I'm pulling back half of it, and then I'm going to take my scissors and cut off all of this extra that you don't need there, just because that's going to make it too bulky and look really bushy down at the bottom. So I'm going to just cut that off long enough where those little pieces can tuck down inside there. And then I did it on the other one as well. Then I added some more hot glue to manipulate the shape and cut off the extras that I didn't want. If you haven't already, come on by to Instagram and say hi to me over there. I post over there all the time on my stories, in my gallery, and I'm always sharing things that I don't necessarily show over here. So if you're interested, come on by and say hi. My account name is just Heidi Sonboul. For this DIY, we're going to use 2 of these roses and a pretty sparkly glitter frame from the Dollar Tree. Both of these are from the Dollar Tree. Then I took a piece of scrap paper. I took out the backing insert, and then I cut down that scrapbook paper to size. I wanted to use a neutral paper that had some texture to it, glued it on, and popped it back into the frame. Then I popped off all of the flowers, all of the rose heads, and I'm going to continue to glue them into the shape of a heart. Now you really could do any shape. You could even do a letter for your family's initial, a monogram. And then I'm going to come back in with these little leaves, and I'm just going to pop them inside because I really loved that added color of the green. That is it for today, friends. I hope you felt inspired with these 10 DIYs on Tuesday. Make sure you head over and check out Sammie and see what she's up to. She's so talented. Give her a subscribe if you feel like she fits your style, and let her know that I sent you over. Leave a comment down below to let me know which one was your favorite. This is my last Valentine's Day DIY video I'm doing for this year, because next I am moving on to spring, which I'm so excited about. Thanks so much for stopping by, and please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Until the next episode, bye friends.